All right, good morning. I'm already in Mbrx here. Mbrx got FDA approval for 3 designations. FDA approving anything is usually a good thing. It shot up pretty decently in pre-market, a 60-cent move. And it's in this triangle right now, so I got in at like 105 right here when it looked like it was going to bounce off of $1. A lot of resistance in that 115 area, but I think once it can get past that 115 area, it could start moving if it can break the top of this triangle. Well, the top of the triangle is at 115, so but $1 should hold as pretty good support on that. So where's ears at? Ooh, well, I missed ears. A big triangle pop there, that would have been a good play. That's unfortunate, but that's alright, you know. See, ears kind of back down to this. There's a lot of support in that 150 area. If it comes back down a little bit more. Let's see, where's it at? Let's see, where are we at? 163. So, break of 180. Ears has the sky to run to. Very low float. 130 there. Come back to ears in a second, but I might jump in ears too. COCP just falling. Mogo, very interesting. Got a flag there forming. Could be a possible play. TANHI, nothing. Nothing there. Let's see, Mbrx. Testing that 105 support. I think that's going to be a bit more of a slow mover. I'll keep an eye on ears here for a minute. Ears has got so much room to run. If it can break that 180. I'm gonna go on ears here. Go 100 shares on it. See if it starts to break this downtrend line. Pre-market highs of 170, so going to be some resistance there. Big buyers holding up at 164 at the moment. I'm starting to push up out of that downtrend, a little triangle there. Testing that pre-market high at 170. So 180 is the big spot. 180 is where a lot of resistance is going to be at. But if it gets through 180, then it could get real frisky. We're close to testing that 180 at the moment. I'm pushing back down a little bit. Okay, so there we go. Now we got a downtrend to see. Starting to push through that downtrend. Let's see, looks like we might test 180 here. Getting real close. If it doesn't break 180, it's going to come back down again. So we're going to want this 160 area to hold to make this triangle if it doesn't break through 180 here in the next minute or so. See, we tested 180. Oh, we're breaking through 180. So let's see if we start going for a new high a day. 189 was the last new high a day, and it's actually the high of the year too. Oh, and you see 180 still holding up. And there's resistance. So there we go. There's the adjusted trend line. Adjusted downtrend, so that's where it needs to break over. Like I said, this could come back down at 160 area, possibly at the bottom of this triangle that it's starting to form. Yeah, that's exactly what it just did too. Pushing back down here. What's up, Daniel B? Good morning, buddy. I got pushed down hard off of that trend line. Strong rejection there, but kind of want to see it build some new support in this 170 area. Looks like it's trying. We got about a minute and 10 seconds on this candle. We really don't want this candle to be pushed all the way down. We really want it to get back up above probably 175. It's trying to here in this last minute. 30 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. Let's see if we can get a close over 175 here. A little bit of selling there at 175. Looks like it's breaking down though. You'll hit the like button if I make $10 today? Should I just lock out right now then so you can hit the like button? What's up, One Life? Good morning, buddy. So we might be trying to test this downtrend again here soon. If we continue to hold this 170 area. Big buyer at 172. See if he holds up. Yeah, he held up. Another buyer coming in at 173 there. See, 175. There we go. So 175 was holding up at some resistance still. $175 is trying to build support. Sellers keep slowly taking it out. Need just to get back up to that 180 and test. Alright, we're testing 180 again. Let's see if we can get through there. Need a nice volume push. And looks like we're going to get back through 180 again. Now we want to see 180 start holding. Still testing this trend line. This downtrend line here. Yeah, still more selling at 180. That's a tough area, but I mean, after 180, there's not much resistance. Actually, in fact, there's not any resistance. So that 180 is a real important resistance line. We're testing 180 again here. Pushing through it again. Let's see, we might start moving here. Yeah, we're starting to move here. Let's see if we can break through this high a day. It looks like we might. Yeah, new high a day at 190. We're starting to push. New high a day at 193. Breaking that triangle. Now $2 will be some natural resistance, but there's no past chart resistance at $2, so $2 is kind of my price target, but I do want to see if it's going to try to break over 2. Pushing up 195 new high. We're getting up to that 2. See, volume increasing up to 2. Let's see if this is going to break. I was about to maybe lock in half here at 2, but did take out a lot of sellers there too. We are a little bit off of this trend line. We had a bit of a spread there. Getting a little bit of a spread. Let's see if we can get this volume push to push it over 2. If it pushes over 2, it might get crazy. So we're going to test 2 again here. Let's see if his volume starts increasing. Oh, popping over 2 there. Up to 210. So I'm going to lock 50 out. I'm going to lock half my shares out here. And then I'm going to hold this other 50 shares here and see if this can keep going. Now, I took half of it there. About at 206 or something like that. But like I said, there's no resistance above this, so it can keep running. And that's kind of what I'm looking to see. All the way up to 217 so far. Very low float stock too, so volume really starts popping in here. We could see this thing getting going. 215 trying to start holding that support. There we go, pushing all the way up to 220. 225. Through 225, through 233. We're getting frisky. Show me the frisk. Show me the frisk. Can we get a halt going here? We may get halted right here. I think we're about to get halted. We getting halted? Oh, maybe not. Nope. Man, this has been happening a lot lately where it looks like it's going to get halted. So many buyers come in. They must have really got their stuff together. I thought it was going to get halted, or I'd have locked it all in there, or the rest of it in at 238, but that's all right. That really looked like it was going to halt. I don't know why it didn't, but so we're going to push back up that 238 maybe again. Starting to come back down a little. At 215, trying to hold us support. Oh, that just cracked. I'm still trying to hold. I may lock the rest in here in a second if this starts to drop more. And starting to push down more. Okay, at 215, still trying to hold. So if that's gonna hold us some support, I'll continue to hold this. See if it gets going crazier. And you can see we're testing, coming up to test that little downtrend on the 1 minute. Got a little bit of a flag going right now. Little triangle here. May dip. May. Oh, let's see. 215 still trying to hold. Sellers at 220. I mean, people are going to be locking in profits. It did just run, you know, almost $1 there. So, but we still haven't had a big sell-off yet. That we had one little pullback, and now it's still kind of consolidating. So I want to kind of give it a chance to see. It's going to rip some more here. And 215 still holding in support. Selling at 220. And that got out of the way. Testing that 215 support again. Looks like it may crack, and then we may be pulling back here. I don't know though. Let's see what happens. So it looks like it's going to try to pop back above 215 here again. Nope, 215 is starting to act as resistance. So we're getting rejected at this downtrend. If it can break that downtrend here in the next minute or two, this may still keep running. There's a big buyer there at 213. He's slowly starting to get taken out though. You can see the rejection there. Getting pretty decent support building at 210. See if you can break this downtrend. Break the 1 minute downtrend and then you'll be back alive again. And nope, 215 still acting as resistance. There we go. Now it's popping over. Now we're starting to break that little downtrend. Buying volume starting to increase a little bit. We may get going again here. If it can break, what is that, 225 area? Yeah, if it can break back over 225, it may get going. Oh, and it just did. Let's see. See if we're gonna push for a new high. A new high again. 238, the most recent new high. Resistance at 230. Oh, we're pushing through that. And it looks like we may get moving. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Still testing this 230 area. So we're just consolidating right now. Did push up to that 230 area, got rejected. Where did it come back all the way down below? Closed. Let's see. Buy close there. Drop below 225. You can see on the 1 minute we're getting a bit of a triangle here. Is it a double top at 238? I don't think it hit 238. I think it hit 237. I mean, I was kind of thinking it did look kind of like a double top, but I mean, we're starting to build a little flag here. The 9 is catching up to that $2 area as well. I mean, just to me, it just looks like consolidation. Doesn't really look like a double top. See, we're back above 215 again. Hey, no problem, buddy. Great job, Epic. Good job making some money there. Let's see. We're testing that 230 again. Let's see. We may be pushing here. Looks like we're gonna. Ooh, it's trying. This is gonna be the third time. Let's see. Buying volume kind of decreasing a little bit, though. We need that to start increasing coming into this. There we go. There's a nice pop. There's a nice pop. All the way up to 248. Getting a little profit lock and dropping back in here. I'm gonna lock 10 more shares in here. So I got 40 left. I want to see if this lasts, if this can start pushing through 250. Because if we push through 250, ooh, we just hit it. There's a bunch of sellers there, but if buying volume comes in enough and pushes through, this could get real crazy. $252 new high. Oh, 250 is starting to break down a little bit. Look, oh, well, held up. A lot of sellers got taken out there at 250. Let's see. I'm gonna give it a chance here. Try to break through 250. And we are pushing a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Pushing up through 250, little bit at a time here. And I'm gonna lock another 10 in here at 250 if I can get my thing to work. There's another little 10 there, locked out. So I got 30 shares left. We went all the way to 260. Looks like we may push through 260 here. Trying to. Yeah. Yeah, there we go, all the way up to 270. You know what? I think I'm good here. I'm going to lock it all out here. There we go. So $64 win on what? What's my average? Like $1.80. So that's like a 30% gain. Yeah, you better hit that like button, sir. You sit there and talk all that trash. If you make $10 today, I'll hit the like button. Well, there's 64. There's 6 times what you wanted me to make. This was a good play, and it may not be done, but man, this chart pattern, I mean, all you had was 180, and then after that is just open skies. So that's why I like that. That's why I like this play a lot, and it still may keep running, but it is off the 9. But I mean, I just held from 180 all the way up to 260, so I'm not going to push it anymore. Well, look at there, it's still pushing. Very nice. Very nice, easy play today. Very nice. I don't feel like a genius. Look at that, 286. Wow, this may keep running. I might have should have kept 10 shares or something just to hold, but I just didn't want to press my luck anymore. But look at here, 290. All the way up to 3. Very nasty run on this. This is a very nasty run. I hope. Oh, look at this. Over 3. Ooh. Yeah, you gotta love his easy plays. Did you hopped in on it too, One Life? And it's not going to 14. There's no way it's going to 14. I mean, this is already a nasty run. I mean, it ran from what down here at $1.33 to 3.08. That's a $2.70 move on a cheap stock. So I mean, that's a big move already. So good job to anybody who killed this. Saw Epic made a little profit there. Let's see. I still got my position on Mbrx, I think. Yeah, this hasn't sold off yet. But it did drop out of the bottom of this triangle. Looks like it's going to possibly sell off. I thought this FDA approval designations was going to get a little more attention, but not quite sold off yet. I think I may move my stop loss up. I think I've got it at 93 cents. But if it doesn't pop back above $1 here soon, then it's going to keep selling off. See, where'd that hit at? 95. And move my stop loss up to 94, I think. There's a lot of resistance on this at 115. If it can pop back above $1 though and get in this little triangle, possibly could start moving. Look at this ear still ripping. Oh, look at this nasty rip. Still ripping all the way up to 325. Very nasty rip. Very nasty. And it's still going. Look at this. 340. There's going to be a pullback soon. Oh, yeah, this looks like a double top right here on the 5 minute. So if you haven't locked out profit yet, you might want to start. It's a big candle. The 9 EMA is all the way back down at 245. So, I mean, you got $1 in this candle here. There's going to be a sell-off, and it looks like, it certainly does look like a little double top. Yeah. Well, let's see here. It looks like it's gonna try to build. Looks like it's trying to build support at 3. I mean that if it's build support at 3, it could still keep going. But I mean, this looks like a double talk. This looks like it's gonna pull back down to that 250 area, but who knows? Maybe not. Yeah, DB, I still have a losing I have a losing position right now on this, but it is what it is. Doesn't look good on Mbrx. I can tell you that. It does not look good at all. I'm debating just cutting my losses now, but it looks like it's slowly trying to get back above a dollar. But ears is the play. Ears is the play. There's nothing else that I would be focusing on except for ears. But now at this point, it's probably going to be sell-off time. I mean, this is a lot of buying volume. Yeah, you can see it. $3 starting to act as resistance. So I believe you're going to keep pulling back probably down to that 9 EMA. Give me just a minute or two, guys, here. I'm going to take a little quick break, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back. Yeah, you can see this pulled back quite a bit. This is what I expected after that nasty rip. That was a good nasty rip, but still it could keep. I mean, if it tries to hold 3 and the 9 keeps slowly creeping up, I mean, it still could move. I want to point out. Let's see, how's Mbrx doing? Volume is really dying. We are below the triangle. I'm trying to think if I want to cut this loss or not right now. The 95-cent area is trying to hold up. See, One Life, you're looking at NIO. Let's look at it. See what's going on. NIO with a big pullback. What's the market look like today? Market's pretty green. Pretty green day there. Now it is that time of year where shippers could start getting attention, and there's 3 of them on my shipper pump list that have got decent volume. One of them, 20 million in volume on rig. So I'm gonna be keeping a close eye on these this whole month. And if I start seeing consistent volume coming into any, then we could start seeing some shipper pumps, because shipping yeah, but they're probably gonna run. They could run again though, because Amazon's already backed up on all their shipping right now. So, and if everybody gets backed up on shipping, these shippers could get some attention. I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying I'm keeping an eye on them. That's all I'm saying. Because it is that time of year, and like I said, there's 3 today that's got some volume. Let's see. Let's take a look at the SPY. SPY pushing to all new highs today. Very nice. So let's read some of this news. Just check what's going on, because I haven't really looked at any of the news yet. Let's start. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Dollar weakens on signs of robust economic recovery. That doesn't make much sense in my head. The dollar weakens on robust economy recover. Futures high on vaccine optimism. Upbeat COVID and vaccine. Yeah, okay. U.S. State Department official Alec Wong accuses China of seeking. I was reading that, Thinkorswim. Here, let's just pull this up. To undo UN sanctions regime on North Korea. Red Book. Reports retail sales. Retail sales are up. Barely. Operation Warp Speed say no, nothing to worry about. Hopes to have the pandemic under control in the back half of 2021. Assuming most Americans are immunized. Interesting. They're going to have 150 million doses by March. See, manufacturing PMI is a little higher. Construction spending looks a little higher. Munich is speaking to Pelosi about COVID relief. Nobody cares about Pelosi. Should get her out of there. Throw her in a trash can. I don't care. I don't care who, uh, what side you are on. You just can't like Nancy Pelosi. She's just one of those people. Munich is testifying for Congress on the CARE Act. Giuliani is said to discuss the possible pardon with Trump. I don't know what he's getting pardoned for. A $300 billion paycheck protection program. Yeah, Munich, let's just keep spending money. We're only 27, 28 trillion in debt. The dollar's weakening, but yeah, let's just keep on spending money. Sounds good. Fed Chair Powell says we'll continue to print off money like it's nothing. We'll paper mache all the money we can. Don't worry about it. We'll make little dolphins out of it and all that. I didn't even want that image in my head one life. You just ruined my day. You just ruined my day. Just with that one comment. that's that's the word. That is the worst. Pal, yeah, we need more fiscal support. Watch me make all types of paper monies out of nothing. Watch this. Boom, boom, boom. I'm magic. I'm the Fed. So, bipartisan effort to get this coronavirus aid through. $908 billion. Oh, and let's give $45 billion to the airlines because they suck at running their businesses. They're all in debt. So let's bail them out. That'd be a great idea. Powell sees upside risk over median. So this is some mixed news. I mean, there's some good news. There's some news, and then there's news of I don't know what kind of magic they're going to try to pull. But you can't keep printing money. You just cannot keep printing money. I mean, I don't know how many times the countries have to learn this lesson the hard way. But they're just going to keep doing it. They're just going to print it. Whatever. Oops. I did that the wrong way. So let's see here on ears. Looks like it may be starting to break this triangle. Let's see, how's Mbrx doing? I need to check that again, see where we're at there. It's not doing much. It's just kind of going sideways, right above 95 cents. Volume decreasing quite a bit. I'll take this bottom line off. It just hasn't sold off anymore. It just is just staying around there. Ooh, looks like ears might be moving again. Yeah, ears popping that downtrend. You see, there's another beautiful triangle. Ears is just a triangle machine this morning. If I had more funds, I would have played this again. And look at here, 355, new higher year, 365. Just beautiful, easy, predictable moves on this. Just triangle breaks, triangle breaks, triangle breaks. What a lovely play. Because that triangle break there, you got in at 3, you could have got another 65 cents out of this. I mean, this is Ears is just giving money away. Ears is like the feds right now. They're just like, yeah. That actually makes no sense whatsoever because Ears isn't doing anything. It's buyers that are doing this, but still. All at the 380, man. I cut out real early. What a rip. Did anybody else in the chat? I know I saw Epic made some quick money on Ears. Did anybody else make some money on this? I mean, this is such a good play. These are the plays that you wait for. Those perfect setups where there's no resistance above, and you get a nice little triangle pattern. Like I hope some of you other guys made some money on this, because this was a good play. This is such a good play. I love it when they work out in a good way, when they're very predictable. Now this I ain't talked about this yet. Kaz, man, this thing ripped nasty in that later half of the day yesterday. But I had my stop loss pretty tight, so I got stopped out. But man, that thing ended up ripping. Ended up getting right back above that trend line and making a nice move into post market. Hey, there you go, One Life. There we go. See, everybody's making money. This is what I like to see. I like to see everybody making money, especially when you got a stock that's just doing its thing. But at this point, I don't know how much is left in this. Yeah, I know. CAS got me bad, man. Ugh. About I think it was like 6 o'clock last night. I checked my phone just looking at some stocks and saw CAS was up to $12, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding me!" I think I was in it at like, I don't know exactly. I can't remember what I was in it at, but it was like 6:30 or 6:50 or something, or close to 7. I remember because I was looking for the $7 break. But that's how it goes sometimes. You just got to bite the bullet on it. So we are back off the 9 EMA, so probably start to have another little pullback. Yeah, I know. I know. It's all right. You know, it sucks to miss a big run like that, but yep, that is trading. It is trading. It happens. Oh, but what I was going to point out earlier, I took 3 losses yesterday and probably going to take a loss on Mbrx. So that's 4 losses. So I'm 1 for 5 this week. And because I've kept my stop losses so low, so tight, that I'm 1 for 5, but this one trade is put me positive for the week. So you lost $20 on Mbrx. It doesn't look like it's going to do anything else. I'm like trying to hold it a little bit longer to see, but it just, volume is just dying off on it. But I liked it earlier when it was like back here. I was looking at the triangle that had formed, and I bought it right off the bottom and was looking for it to try to break 115, but it couldn't even get over 110. Now it's just going straight sideways at 95. I may just jump out of this. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me look at this real quick. So 200 days at 90 cents. Yeah, dollar is very strong resistance. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep holding it. In case volume starts to come back in and it gets back over $1 because it just hasn't dropped yet. It's just going sideways. Look at this. Ears running some. Where are we going here? Ears pushing up again. Look at this. Another triangle break on the 1 minute. Look at that. Perfect triangle break. Could have got 350 up to 389 scalp there. Another 49 cents possible. This thing is just triangling its way to glory right now. See, it may push to 4 here. It looks like it's going to try. A little bit of sun at 384, so 4 might be pretty tough. I mean, at this point, what is this up? It's up 235%, so the higher it goes, the more riskier it's going to get of it coming back down. It's not going to 50. There's no way. There's no way. I'm surprised it's ran this much, really. But a great play. I mean, if you're a scalper, man, you had to make bank off of this so far. I mean, 4 different triangles that you could have scalped if you were kind of a buy and hold for the big rip trader like me, then you had to make some money. I mean, there was just money all over this thing today. Just a money tree. Like I said, I don't know how much more it's got. I mean, this is a pretty big rip. We're halfway up the chart on this thing. Epic, I'm trying to get back to consistently streaming. I did have a hiatus there for a little bit. I had to get my mental health in check. And in this last couple of weeks, I've been trying to figure some things out and get things straightened out. But I am going to try to be consistent and live stream all 5 days from now on. I was also working on getting the new channel fixed up and ready to go. And if you missed that live episode last night on the new channel, you can go check that out. I was definitely not smoking meth. So don't put that out there. I was definitely not on any drugs. This is a very hectic environment, and I appreciate those kind words. I'm not going anywhere. This channel will continue. I'm getting ready to start ramping up more content, more videos, more lessons, things like that. I'm also starting to look into Bitcoin trading because Webull has started allowing fractional shares of crypto trading. So as soon as I find a good consistent pattern in that, I'm going to start doing those live streams too. And we'll be live streaming crypto trades. I don't know what time of day yet. I'm not going to do it during this time because this is my stock time. I still love my penny stocks, but uh, we'll here soon we're going to be looking at 2 live streams a day, more video content. And then, like I said, the new channel, the Straight White Male Perspective channel, that is brand new. That's me and my father-in-law talking about politics, news, culture, entertainment, just talking about all kinds of stuff, just having some good discussion and trying to bring more to our own perspectives by hearing out other people's perspectives. We want to start a community of dialogue and discussion with that channel because there's so much polarization right now, and people are having a hard time having civil discussions, and we need that moving forward as a country and as human beings. We need that civil discussion, because resorting to violence or name calling or any of that just because of a political party or any of that, it's nonsense, and that's only going to move us backwards. We're gonna regress into cavemen and be beating each other over the head with clubs. I mean, that's pretty much what we've been doing the last 4 years. So, anybody who wants to come check that out, that's the link is in the community tab, and I'll be promoting that. But like I said, it's Straight White Male Perspective. But if you want that link, just go to the community tab and you can hop over there and subscribe to that channel too. We're going to be doing live streams twice a week live episodes covering whatever headlines we find interesting or whatever we figure out is interesting with entertainment or whatever. Like I said, it's going to be just kind of like a podcast type of deal where we're just talking about all kinds of stuff. Eventually, we're going to try to have guests on that as well. So, and then those live episodes will be cut down into smaller videos as well. So, a lot of content going to be coming from this channel. Good bit of content's going to be coming from that channel. I'm pretty much trying to start going full time on YouTube and doing my thing. So I appreciate all the support. If you're not interested in that other channel, no worries, I get it. But if you are interested in some of that stuff, it'd definitely be worth checking out. Epic blocked you, Daniel B. Do you blame him? Do you blame him? I'm not exactly sure what Greg's doing right now. I know he's been in IT for most of his life. I would say he's a pretty successful guy. But yeah, you just kind of get 2 perspectives. That's my father-in-law, older generation, and then you got my perspectives in that channel too. So there'll be some debates, some back and forths. It should be interesting. Should be a good time. And I don't know when the crypto trading is going to start, because that relies on me figuring out a pattern that's consistent. And I just the past week I just started looking at the crypto stuff. So let's see here. We might be getting another possible triangle. Possibly. It's pulling back. Pulling back to the 9, it looks like. Close to the 9. But I don't know how much more. I really don't know how much more this has got in it. I mean, it's what? You know, it's been over 200% for a while. Pretty much been going straight up. But we'll see. Let's see if we can break another one. And then we'll give the stream, I don't know, about 15, 20 more minutes here. And then I'm probably going to call it a day as I have no more funds to trade. All right, so cracking, so that triangle is not gonna break because it just started cracking down. Possibly could bounce off of the 9, but right now you got this downtrend on the 1 minute. Looks like you can kind of see it. If I remove these lines of these triangles right here, and then if you draw your support line right at $4, or not support line, I'm sorry, resistance line. Draw your resistance line right at $4. You can see this is hit $4, and it actually didn't hit 4, but it got close and it's curling over. So you got to curl over. So this is probably going to keep selling off for a little bit. I'd say the run is done for now. It looks like the run is done for now. Where am I seeing the triangles? So look, if you're being serious, Daniel B, then I will oblige you. But right here was the first triangle, and this is where I got in at, down here. I don't remember exactly where I got in at. I think I got in close to 180 or something like that. It was like right here when it started to test the first triangle. And then it broke that triangle. To you it looks like hills. Well, the triangle is basically your support and resistance lines. So your support right here was at $1.60, so you got that bottom support line, and then you've got the downtrend at the top, which is the top of the triangle. So that's a downtrend resistance line. So that pattern, it forms a triangle. Same thing here. Right there, you got the resistance line across. It wasn't really a downtrend, but it's across. And then your bottom support line is pointing up, so it's another triangle. Same thing here. Bottom support line hit right there. Got a little doji almost. And your downtrend was there. And then it comes up. Tests that downtrend. Pops out of the triangle. And then you get another move. So, I mean, triangle plays, I mean, you can see right there on the 1 minute. 3 little triangles. And all the triangles are is consolidation. That's all it is. Like, if you don't really need triangles. You can just tell the price action that this is going to be consolidation. You know, because that's all it is. You got your first original rip here. And then it started selling off. And now you're consolidating. And then you get another rip. Consolidating in this triangle. Then another rip. Consolidation. Then another rip. And that's all it is. But the triangles just make it easier for me to realize what's consolidation and see where the resistance and support is pretty clearly. But it's just price action. That's all it is. It's just looking at the consolidation and looking at the price action. There's nothing really flagpole and flag, bull flags. Yeah, I mean, there's all types of names for the different triangles, but who really cares? You know, because like I said, all it is consolidation. It's just consolidation. So it doesn't really matter what the name of the triangle is, whether it's a bull flag, a wedge, what's the other one? I'm blanking on the word. Uh, a pennant. That's what it is, a pennant. I was going to say a pentagram, but I was like, no, it's not a pentagram. If you start trading pentagram patterns in day trading, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's you're probably selling your soul to the devil if you start looking for pentagram patterns. So don't do that. But yeah, it's all irrelevant. Who cares what the names are? The only important thing is just knowing what they are, what it is in these triangles, and why you're trading them. And it's just consolidation. That's all it is. Ah, Daniel B, you don't know that. You know what's going on. You just don't like triangles. I know you're trading. I mean, you're trading the same thing. If you're just trading straight, if you're trading straight price action, you're trading the same thing as trading these triangles. That's all it is. Ooh, it looks like it's going to test 4 here, though. So it did curl over, but it ended up... I mean, this is kind of a triangle, but it's an ugly triangle. Says it's going to break 4 here. A lot of sellers at 4. Let's see. Oh, no, there it goes. Popping up out of 4. You made more money. Did you get another scalp on it right there? And that little break, 350 up to 407. I mean, that's another 50 cents. That one's a little bit uglier of a triangle because to me it looked like it was going to sell off, but it did end up holding up this support line, which I was kind of talking there, so I wasn't really paying that much attention, but it did hold up this support line, so this is another triangle. Another triangle break for another 50-cent run. Okay, Daniel B. Rubik's Cube pattern. But the key to trading these triangles in this consolidation is, I mean, it's better if you can get an entry on the support line of the triangle, because then if the triangle cracks, you're not risking quite as much. Sometimes I will try to get in at the break, but it don't. Sometimes these triangles don't always break. But the key is right here, and you can see it at the tip of this triangle. You got volume starting to increase coming into the tip. So then the volume increases, it breaks, and you're in this other triangle here, and you see volume starting to increase, and it breaks. Same thing here, volume starting to increase, pushing up, and it breaks. And same thing here, you see it sold off a little bit, and then got a green volume increase coming into the tip of the triangle, and you get the break. So it's just on the consolidation, because these triangles are nothing but consolidation. At the end of the consolidation, where it looks like it's going to be the end, you want to see increasing volume, increasing buying volume. If these were red candles coming into that tops of these triangles, then these triangles most likely wouldn't have broke. So it's very important that as you're in these consolidation trades looking for the breaks, that you see the volume start to come in. And that's why I have the 1 minute chart up, because you can see it a lot clearer than on the 5 minute. The 5 minutes just from an overall pattern of price action and support and resistance. But the 1 minute's where you get your detailed analysis. So you can see there, here's the first triangle, and you see a little bit of buying volume. Buying volume's getting consistent, get an increase there, starts to pop. And you see here again, same thing. Buying volume starting to ramp up, pushes through, pops. These are consistent consolidation patterns. You can see it right here, this last triangle. one little green candle, or not candle, but volume bar, a little bit bigger volume bar, and that's where the big pop comes up out of that tip of that consolidation. So very important when looking for these breakouts out of consolidation, you need to have that increasing buying volume. And it looks like there may be another triangle. Look at this. We draw the downtrend right there. That's your downtrend resistance line. Got some support building right here. This 370 area. And let's see. Let's test this theory one more time. I don't know if it'll do it or not. I mean, it's already ran. You know, we're pretty high up, so let's see. We need that increase in volume to come in. Right now, we've got selling volume. Right here, let's see if the support at 370 holds up. 370 is holding up. We're getting some increase in volume, testing the top of this triangle. So we got a little increase in volume. Let's see. We got to wait it out here. We got to see if we get another increase in volume bar. And see if sellers are getting taken out. That's another way to tell too. See, sellers are starting to get taken out. Still testing this downtrend. Buying volume slowly increasing. Let's see if we get another triangle pop out of this. Oh, now it just opened up out of the triangle. Look at that. Boom. Look how easy that is. Look at that. Increase in volume. Pop straight up out of that triangle. Another one. Consolidation, increasing volume, pop. So use the volume bars to kind of tell where the volume's increasing. Use the level 2 to see if the buyers are overweighing the sellers. Now this one got rejected pretty hard. This one pushed right back down, but that was another quick possible scalp. They don't always work, but it's increasing volume. Sometimes they don't get the buying volume coming in. I mean, you can find triangles all the time. Like Mbrx, it bounced off there, but you can see where that support was. Bounced off of that support and started coming up, but look, we didn't get any increasing volume, any increasing buying volume. Instead, what do we get right here at the support? We got increasing selling volume. 2 red volume bars. And so you see there, you did get a little bit of a green one, but not much. And then another higher selling volume candle. So that's how you can tell when it's going to crack the triangle instead of go up. But we did not get increase in buying volume. We got increase in selling volume. So the triangle cracked, and now it's out of that triangle. It was consolidating sideways. Now it's below the triangle, and it's just still consolidating sideways. Very low volume on it, but still hasn't hit my stop loss yet. So I'm just going to keep holding it for the time being. Because it is kind of getting close to this downtrend. Possibly could break there. But that is the difference. That's why that volume is important. You got to see that increase in volume coming in. Increase in buying volume. Green buying volume bars. What I think about Macy's, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big fan of trading retail. I did make a nice little swing trade on, what was that last week? Express. It was a decent little swing trade. But Macy's, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it looks fine. It's climbing up to 9. It's over this other resistance, or actually, it's right at this other resistance at 1050 line. You see it right through there. Bada bing. Something like that. 1025, 1050, I don't know. Somewhere around there. That was your last resistance. So it's kind of trying to build support there. And if it builds support there, right above $10, I mean, after that, there's not a whole lot keeping it from getting back up to that $15 area. So this possibly could be a good swing trade. But yeah, like One Live said, retail's sketchy. I don't know if I would say. I mean, Macy's been around a long time, but for long term, I don't know. When we do have the vaccine and stuff coming out, and people are going to want to get out of their houses, we have another triangle forming here. Resistance right across the top there at 430. Bottom of the support line pointing up. It's a different shaped triangle, and then you need to see increasing buying volume. Right now you got an increase in selling volume, so but it's still holding up. Let's see if we get that increase in buying volume and look at the level 2, look at the ask, see if 430 is going to break down or not if it gets up there. At the moment, it kind of looks like it may crack. Because we just had that big red candle, and we're starting to get another red candle. It's kind of indecision here, but it's starting to look to me like it may crack. 420 holding up as resistance on the ask. And if this, and this is starting to increase a little bit. So if it doesn't hold that, yeah, increasing selling volume, and you see it's cracking that triangle. So that was a failed triangle breakout. Now, it could possibly still keep consolidating, which would make the triangle bigger. Instead of the little triangle there that was a sharp triangle, it could possibly start to look like this. Sometimes you have to adjust your support and resistance lines. I mean, it's still consolidating. It didn't completely drop off and sell off. If it would have cracked below 4 and kept selling off, because right here is this candle, and that's some support right across there. You can see at 396, 1, 2, 3 candles, 4 candles hit there as resistance, and then 2 candles held up as support. So let's see what happens on this consolidation. Let's see if it still gets another pop, because it is starting to come back up to that 430. See if volume starts increasing or not. So at 420 is some resistance. You got 4 tops of the bodies of these candles right there across that 420. And it's holding up as some resistance. Yeah, it's still holding as some resistance. And that's the thing. The higher a stock gets, the more resistance is going to start holding up and closer together. So you got 420 resistance, you got 430 resistance. It's a little bit different. You can see how there's another thing on the 5 minute. You look at the 5 minute, our green candles are getting smaller and smaller as we go up. We had some pretty big consistent green candles. And then right here in this little area, we're starting to get a little bit smaller green candles. So the selling pressure is getting stronger and stronger at the higher the stock goes. So let's see, let's give this a little shot here. And then I'm going to call it a day and I'm going to get some lunch. Any ideas of NIO and Wells Fargo? Oh, see, increasing selling volume. Crack that little triangle. So that triangle is definitely done. So, very nice run on ears, but looks like it may get that big sell-off here soon. The two little triangles there both failed. NIO doesn't have any trucks yet. NIO is in a pullback at the moment, but they don't really have any product yet from my understanding. That would be a concern of mine. Right at the moment, it's kind of started this downtrend on the daily. And let's see, looks like there's a little support at 45. And right in that 45 area, there's some support. So if it could continue to hold 45, then maybe you can see it come back up and break that downtrend. But if it doesn't hold 45, then most likely it's going to probably pull back. Yeah, there's not a lot of support through here, so the 50-day moving average would be probably your next support if it doesn't hold 45. So over the next couple of days, you'd want to see it hold above $45 and then wait for it to start trend reversing possibly. Are you asking for, let me ask you a question. Are you asking for long term or just day trade or what? Boy Toy RR, I think. Like, what is your question you're asking me about? Are you asking me for long term? For long term? So long term, over the long term, I mean, the chart analysis is going to be a chart analysis for short term. Long term, let's look at the max here. Let's look at the max chart. Yeah, so NIO really wasn't doing too much until this year in June, and it's went pretty much straight up. So if you're looking at getting in now, I don't know. And you do have the 9 EMA on the max chart at 40, so it could be some support there. The problem with NIO is they don't have a product yet. I think. Am I thinking of the right one? Is NIO Nikola? Oh, no, I'm wrong. I was thinking of Nikola. NIO is a different stock. I was very... yeah. Okay. Yeah, my bad. I just now realized that I was talking about NIO and not Nikola. Okay, so Nikola is the one that doesn't have a product yet, doesn't have a truck yet. NIO, I can see right here they have delivered vehicles, so they are making some sales. So what I'd want to see, I mean, overall the chart is pointing in the upward direction, but what I'd want to see is their revenue and their debt and their cash on their balance sheet. Like, if I'm investing long term in a stock, I like to have a company that has more assets than debt. Because if they have more assets than debt, and assets includes cash, if they have more assets than debt, then they're a pretty decently run company. And when I say I don't want like 50 million in assets and 49.5 million in debt. That's too close to the assets. Think of it this way. Yeah, I mean they're increasing right now. Yeah, they're increasing right now. The EV market is hot, but that can change. That's one of the things that I was going to get to. All the EV plays have been hot. This could just be a trend. It also could be because of the projected Biden win and what he wants to do with renewable energies, if you believe that he's actually going to do something with renewable energies. It is very possible, but this could just be a trend. This happens every year. There's always one sector of stocks that just goes on crazy rips, like we've seen with NIO and Solo and all these EV plays. And eventually it dies off and they come back down to some normal prices. So that's something you got to keep in mind. While it has ripped, it's all the way up here. Got all the way up to 57. It's at 46 now. You are getting a little pullback, but keep that in mind that these could be overinflated prices due to them being hot right now, just being a trend. Now, over the long term, it is very possible that it could keep climbing. If you're saying that they're in debt, I don't personally like putting my money in companies that are in debt, even with 100% increases year over year, because they're in debt. We don't know if obviously they're growing. It's a newer company, so there's going to be that inherent risk. I'm pretty sure they just came out in 2020. Oh no, they come out in 2019. So I mean, you only got 2 years of data on this company. So when you're looking back for long-term plays and you only have 2 years of data, that's not a lot of data. And it pretty much went sideways for the first year and then has exploded this year. To me, it's kind of getting to a point up here where it may start coming back down possibly and try to find some support somewhere, maybe in the 40, 36 range, maybe even a little bit lower, maybe down here in this 25 range. But it depends on a lot of different things. But they are in debt, but they're backed by the Chinese government. Okay, I mean that's cool. There's a lot of good positivity around the stock, but keep in mind, like Daniel B just said, 95% of these EVs still do not have production. The other thing is the EV market and renewable energy market has to compete with Elon Musk and Tesla. If they cannot compete with Elon Musk and Tesla, they are going to fail. So for them to compete with that giant, because that is the competition, that is the boy, that is the Michael Jordan of EV right now, that is LeBron James of the EV world. Because Tesla's been out, they've been making sales, and Elon Musk is a crazy man who makes things happen. So that's your competition for NIO and everybody else. Hold on just a second, guys. I got to take a call real quick and I'll be All right, never mind. They hung up on me. So, okay, I mean, I can see that. It's a newer company. They're going to get into some debt to try to invest in the company. I can see that kind of happening. But NIO, like I said, these could be hot trend plays right now. So that's something you got to be aware of. And on top of that, yeah, I'm not a broker advisor either. These are just my personal opinions and views. Be sure to always seek licensed investor. I'm just giving my views. All these views are for entertainment purposes only. That's why I have disclaimers on everything. This is just my personal opinions. I'm not telling you to buy or sell anything. I'm just giving you my views on how it looks to me. But I mean, NIO could easily keep going up, but at the same time, I mean, this is a pretty massive rip over the past year, from $3 all the way up to 57. So it's not something I'd want to be in a rush to buy in here at the top, because it's a newer company. You have less data and all that. So I mean, just do your own due diligence, do your own research, make your own decision on it. I'm just telling you my thoughts on it. Did ears go on another big rip? Yeah, ears ripping more. Good Lord, this thing just will not stop. All the way up to 5. Okay, and then your other question was Wells Fargo. Now, here's the thing with Wells Fargo. That's not it. What's Wells Fargo? What's Wells Fargo's ticker symbol? I thought it was WF. I can't remember what their ticker symbol is. Somebody popped me that. Well, yeah, yours is definitely crazy today. Nice play. One life you keep changing your number of where yours is going. See if it'll pop up at Wells Fargo for me, because I don't know. I cannot remember the ticker symbol for Wells Fargo. If anybody doesn't know it right off. Or didn't Daniel B put it somewhere in the chat? Hold on, let me look back in the chat. If not, I'll Google it. WF. I thought that was Wells Fargo. It says Worry Financial Group. Is that who owns Wells Fargo? WFC. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. There we go. Okay, yeah, Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo pays a dividend. Now, I'm fixing to do a video here real soon on George Soros's portfolio. I want to start doing a new series. It's going to be part of the new content coming out. And this has everything to do with Wells Fargo, so we'll get there in just a second. But it's going to be billionaire portfolio analyst. So I'm going to be looking at different billionaires' portfolios. And I peeked into George Soros's already. George Soros is short on all the banking stocks. Well, maybe not all of them, but quite a bit of banking stocks. And I can't remember if Wells Fargo is one of those or not. But with the dollar possibly weakening and the Feds continuing to print money, if the dollar keeps weakening, banks are not going to be good for anything, because banks are built off of fiat currency. If you don't know what a fiat currency is, it's basically paper money that you would use the same way you would in Monopoly. But our US dollar is a fiat currency. It's not backed by anything. It is just a piece of paper. So if George Soros is short on all the bank stocks, I would be a little cautious on investing in them personally. George Soros, there's a lot of conspiracies out there about him and stuff, but if you start taking a look at these billionaire portfolios and start seeing more billionaires who are short on banks, You know, fiat it's not just because of crypto. Fiat currency, I'll go through this real quick. Because fiat currency is not backed by anything, it's just paper. Okay, the Federal Reserve controls the interest rates, and I've had people argue with me that they don't control interest rates, but they absolutely do. They control interest rates and they control inflation. They manipulate inflation to stay in the range where they feel safe, and that manipulation is usually around 1% to 2% inflation. With COVID and even before COVID, we've had a lot of bubbles, like the stock market's kind of a bubble. Real estate's, I'm not sure if it's a bubble, but bond market's definitely a bubble. And this whole year, because of COVID, we've had the Federal Reserve buying up stocks and junk bonds and all that craziness. On top of that, the Fed has been printing a ton of money. We are 27 trillion in debt the last time I checked, and we're still printing money, which is going to cause inflation to go up, which is going to decrease the actual value of the US dollar because, like I said, it is a fiat currency, it's not backed anything. Basically, a fiat currency is backed by the word of the government. Right now, our government's kind of crazy, so I don't know how much of the rest of the world is going to take our government's word for the IOUs that they've been sending overseas, which is US treasuries. Those U.S. treasuries are nothing but pieces of paper as well that say, we owe you some money, but take this little piece of paper instead for now. If these countries start getting anxious, start sending back all these U.S. treasuries, they start sending back all the U.S. fiat currencies, all the dollar bills and stuff, back into the United States. If we get hit by all those at the same time while we're in this much debt, it is very possible that the dollar could be worthless. Now, it's very doom and gloomy, but it is a real possibility. And especially with the Biden administration wanting to spend more money and the Fed already saying that they're still going to keep printing money, I don't know how long you can keep printing money, but we're getting to a point, we're getting to a real slippery slope when it comes to what is going on economically. So there's a lot of risk to me with bank stocks because they are going to be the ones who get hit the hardest. Just like in 2008 when we had the bubble pop for the real estate market and all that, the banks took a hit. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's just kind of my thoughts on all the bank stocks right now. And seeing George Soros is short, along with all that other information I just told you, it's risky. You can say that, Daniel B. I just looked at Soros's portfolio. He was short on all the bank stocks. If you don't believe me, go look it up. And just because Wells Fargo is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, listen, Warren Buffett, he lost a ton of money this year buying back into airline stocks. Like, he's done some weird, wacky things that he normally doesn't do this year. So I wouldn't be going too gung-ho on things because, look at this. As I'm talking about Wells Fargo, it's dropping. Everybody's in here selling because of my crazy talk. No, Wells Fargo's only dropping right now because it's hitting the 200-day moving average. It's testing that, but just keep that in mind. It's speculation. It's possible that somehow we get pulled up out of this debt and all this because the only thing the U.S. dollar has going for it is that it's kind of the reserve standard for the rest of the world's currency. But like I said, if the rest of the world decides that they don't like our dollar being the standard because our government's crazy and everything else that's going on with inflation and debt, then we very well could see that happen. So, that's the thing. That's the thing. And then you bring crypto into the fold. Is there a possibility that crypto might be the new standard in some way? I don't know. I think we'd go back to a gold standard before we went to a crypto. Unless, is the only thing that I would say unless, and here's is just popping again here. Yeah, another nice rip. But if the conspiracy of the Great Reset is somewhat true, and I don't like being a conspiracy theorist, and that just sounds crazy, the Great Reset, but the whole world is pretty much in debt right now because of COVID and everything that's gone on. Most countries are not doing that great. A lot of countries are printing money and doing the same things we are doing. So I could see a scenario where all the major countries get together and maybe try to make their own crypto, or they may embrace Bitcoin or something as a standard for maybe a global currency. Possibly. I don't know. This is such a there's so much speculation and conspiracy around all that I really don't know what is going to happen. I just know if we keep going at the current rate we are going with all this money printing and stuff, all these stimulus packages, it's probably not going to be good for the U.S. dollar. And that's why I say maybe we go back to a gold standard or something. But these fiat currencies, I mean, so far there's not really been a successful fiat currency. I mean, you can say the U.S. dollar's been a successful fiat currency, but we've only been off the gold standard for about, 34, let's see, about 60 years, 50 years, something like that. I know it was in the 70s, but yeah. And then Daniel B talking about how the average consumer's in debt. $9 billion was spent on credit cards in one day on Black Friday. 22% more debt accrued by the average shopper this year. People are using their credit cards because money's been tight because of this year. I mean, we are in a real sketchy area. Real slippery slope. So bank stocks, I would just be careful with. I mean, they are still lower. Look at WFC again. Old Wells Fargo. I mean, Wells Fargo's took a hit this year. But overall, I mean, this is not the best looking max chart on Wells Fargo. You see, since 85, it's been climbing, but these lows here, these are pretty low lows. You got some pretty strong support at $22 right there. So I mean, I wouldn't want to get in much higher than that area. Probably in that $23-22 area if I was going to get in it, because it does pay a dividend, and I do like dividends. But I don't know, that one concern, like I said, about the market, the bubbles and all of that. Look at this, still ripping, man. But that would be my concern with bank stocks. It's something to keep in mind. If you don't know much about fiat currencies and what the Federal Reserve does and all that stuff, if you're going to be long-term investing and day trading and all that, you definitely want to do some research and learn about that stuff, because they do indirectly and directly affect the markets. I don't know if I would say gold is a worst a worst investment. I I can't agree to that. I can't agree to that. What's the gold chart? It's like backslash AU or something. No, if banks crash, no, if banks crash and the dollar crashes, gold will go up. Gold and precious metals will go up. So let's see here. I think I've got, yeah. Okay. So here's 100 years of gold prices. What do you see there? What do you see there, Daniel B? This is an overall upward trend on gold prices. Gold has continued to climb. See, that's 30 years. It's back to all years. So gold has continued to decline. Gold drops when the economy's doing really good. But when the economy's doing real bad, and you can see this was where 1980. I don't remember if that was a recession or not, but I know 2008 was. And you can see right before 2008, that bubble was building in the stock market, in the real estate market, and gold started climbing and gold popped because of that recession in 2008, and that's usually how it happens. So I'm not one to say gold is a bad investment. It also, sometimes when the market drops, gold will drop with it a little bit, but usually gold drops a little bit less than what everything else drops. Gold holds some bit of value. So let's pop over to MBXR real quick. MBRX, I'm still in. It's slowly creeped back up to $1. It's over the downtrend line right now. So this may be, I don't know, this may turn into a swing trade if it keeps slowly climbing. Am I funny? I just showed you a chart of gold increasing in price over the last 100 years, DB. Like, you can't deny that the price of gold has continually increased. It's going, it's just how it is. Sometimes it drops a little bit when the market drops, but it usually holds gains, it holds value a little bit more than stocks in a recession or anything like that. And that's pretty much the key. During recessions and stuff, you don't want your money to be in the fiat currency. You want your money to be in something else that's not going to take such a big hit during that type of crash. But you know, gold is pretty much the old faithful. It's been around forever and probably is not going anywhere. It's used in all types of electronics. So it's something to keep in mind. Crypto's an interesting one. I don't really want to get into all that on the crypto today, but as a matter of fact, I'm about to call it a day. Here's the thing. There is going to be, especially under a Biden administration, there is most likely going to be a pretty big crash at some point within the next 2 years if Biden does the things he's talking about, like raising taxes and these social programs. Doing that while we're in the debt that we are in is only going to put us in more debt. You can see consumers are already spending too much money that they don't have because their credit card spending is up. So if you raise taxes and all the middle class and lower class are already in debt, then they're going to have a harder time getting out of debt, because now they're facing higher taxes. They're going to face higher inflation, so the value of their money is going to be going down, and then they're going to be having the interest rates that they're dealing with the debt. So you're talking about people making less money and being in more debt under a Biden administration, right? So it is very possible that a crash could be coming. Right now, the market is up. Yes, a lot of it is part of it is recovery hopes, but part of it is because the Feds have been buying junk bonds and stocks. They've been buying, all this stuff to try to keep the markets up. That's why you see a disconnect kind of with the market being up high and then all this other crazy stuff going on. People are in debt and all this. The market is disconnected right now from reality because the Feds are pushing it up. The moment the Feds stop pushing it up, or the moment the Feds can no longer control inflation, the market will crash. The Feds seem to believe that they can keep it under control. I don't think they can. I think they're biting off more than they can chew. This is the most debt the country's ever been in. It's the most debt consumers have ever been in. The lockdowns that are continuing on, like with Maryland with their COVID compliance units trying to shut down bars and stuff. Small businesses are getting killed. The government is picking winners because they're saying Walmart can stay open, Amazon can stay open, but small businesses can't stay open. So during this COVID lockdown, we've had a wealth transfer from the middle class and lower class to the big corporations. The Feds printed out all that stimulus money. You got your stimulus check. What did most people do with it? They took it, they bought toilet paper, they bought all their groceries off of Amazon, all of that. So all that money that the Feds printed off went right back to those corporations that they picked to stay open. Walmart, Amazon, Target, the other grocery stores, but especially Amazon, they had crazy record sales. That was a wealth transfer, whether it was purposely or non-purposefully. That is what happened. The wealth got transferred from the middle class and lower class to the higher class. The middle class and lower class are still in rough shape. They're still in debt, like Daniel B. pointed out, spending more on credit cards than they ever have. And what are they spending it on? They're spending it on the toilet paper and necessities they need in life. So the corporations are getting more and more money. This rate we're going, and that's why the market's disconnected, because middle class and lower class are on a downward spiral while the upper class is on an upward spiral. If you're invested in the stock market and the Feds are pushing the market up, you're making money. Most people don't invest in the stock market. Most everyday people don't even care about the stock market. So they just care about getting their groceries and, getting their iPhones or whatever. It's a wealth transfer, and this is going to continue to happen until the government gets out of the way and the Feds get out of the way and we start actually backing the currency. So yes, there possibly could be a crash coming. Looking at all the points, that I'm talking about, is very possible. You don't so you don't think okay. So you don't think so you don't think okay. So Dan, I can tell that you probably lean left a little bit, and that's okay. You're fine to have your own opinions, but Biden says he's not going to raise taxes on the middle class. He's going to raise taxes on the upper class. Well, here's the thing. The upper class has plenty of money. If you've got plenty of money, if I'm a millionaire or a billionaire and I'm sitting in California right now and Biden says he's going to raise my taxes even more, well, I'm going to Hawaii, or I'm going to Puerto Rico, or I'm going to South America. I'm not staying here. You're not taking more of my money. That's exactly how these millionaires and billionaires look at it. So you raise the taxes on the upper class, they're just going to move. So then you've got this big tax burden because all the people who had the money left, and now that big tax burden, who else is going to pay it?
it's going to have to fall on the middle class and lower class. That's just how economics works. So whether or not he's going to purposely raise taxes on the middle class, we can debate that. But if he raises taxes on the upper class, like he's talking about, it for sure is going to be the burden indirectly on the middle class. This is how it's always worked throughout history. Every time you raise the taxes, because taxation is theft, basically. In my view, the more money that the government wants, like, I don't care if you're taxing the rich 30%. I care what you're taxing me. Whatever you're taxing me, I don't want to pay more in taxes personally myself, and I'm not a millionaire or a billionaire. So I know the millionaires and billionaires who are getting targeted saying that they're going to have to pay 60, 70% in taxes. They're not going to let you take 60% or 70% of their money. So they'll move out. That or loopholes. Loopholes. The average American doesn't know the tax loopholes. So Biden, as he's been in office for a long time, he could keep the tax loopholes for the rich in there. The riches could be looking like they're paying taxes, but they're paying loopholes and getting out of there. The burden once again falls on the middle class and lower class. And this is how it works. Raising taxes has never worked. My friend, there's already a millionaire exodus. If you don't understand that there's already a million and billionaire exodus, go look at Puerto Rico and Costa Rica. How many millionaires and billionaires have moved from the United States in the past 5 years? Peter Schiff moved down there, and so did a whole bunch of Bitcoin traders and other Wall Street people. The exodus has been happening. People have been leaving New York and California. Look, Joe Rogan, all these comedians, all these millionaires have left California because of the taxes and the lockdowns. They went to Texas. You have all these people leaving New York. The exodus has already happened. It's not a question whether it will or not. It's already happening, my friend. You got to pay attention to all this, all sides. The millionaires and billionaires are not going to stick around. They've proven time and time again that unless they've got loopholes, they're not going to stick around. So raising taxes is only going to hurt the middle class and the lower class. Raising taxes does nothing. There is no proof in history from this point back where raising taxes on anybody has helped anything. And that's just the truth about it. I'm not talking anecdotally. I'm giving you evidence. I'm telling you, you said there's not going to be a millionaire and billionaire exodus, but it's already happening. It's already been happening. This is not speculation. They've been moving. They've been moving. Peter Schiff is out of the country. Peter Schiff does not want to be in America right now. You know, plenty of other billionaires and billionaires are thinking the same thing. And if you get these trade deals, you know, Trump had trade deals where manufacturing was starting to come back to America. If Biden starts undoing all that and all the manufacturers leave, well, then there's not going to be any manufacturing here either. There's a lot of problems that is going to arise, and I'm not Republican. I lean way more libertarian, and I have a lot of my views based off of simple supply and demand and economics. I mean, we're sitting here day trading. The same rules that apply to day trading in the stock market apply to everything else in economics. You know, supply and demand. Let's see, Mbrx just dropped. There's more than one person. I'm not just talking about Peter Schiff. I named Joe Rogan, all those comedians. I mean, go watch some podcasts. You'll see all these people are moving from California to New York. New York is just the other day I saw where there was one of the big counties in New York, one of the rich counties, is now not in the top 10 of richest counties in the United States. Like, New York has already had a mass exodus. California's having a mass exodus. I'm not talking about political podcast. I'm talking about go listen to Joe Rogan or these comedians. The comedians, they don't, they've got their political biases, but they're moving. I mean, you're seeing it. Like just I'm telling you, just go do some research and you'll see there's already an exodus happened. And these statistical facts that you want me to find out, just go learn economics. I'm just giving y'all logical economics. That's all it is. That's all it is. I don't, there's plenty of statistics and stuff out there you can find. You don't have to agree with me. That's fine. You can disagree with how economics works all you want. But it's just how it is. It's supply and demand. It's the same rules that apply in the stock market that apply in economics on a micro and a macro level. Just like with the debt. The whole country's in debt. We'll break it down to a micro level. On a micro level, if you are $50,000 in debt personally and you're not making $50,000 a year, well, then you're going down into a deeper and deeper rabbit hole. The way you get out of debt is only two ways. Two ways to get out of debt. One, you have to cut your spending, which Biden is not going to cut spending. We know that. Or two, you bring in more income than what your debt is. Raising taxes could possibly bring in more income than what the debt is. But if the upper class is not going to be there to pay those taxes, then you're not really going to get that income that you need to get out of debt. So those are only two ways, and that's on a micro level. Same thing applies on the micro level as it does the macro level. Economics works the same across the board. Just because the numbers change, just because the variables change, does not change the laws of supply and demand and how basic economics works. It does not change across the board whatsoever. It's the same algorithm, math or whatever across the board, no matter what it is. Nobody is exempt from supply and demand. Nobody is exempt from economics. It works the way it works. I'm not acting like I'm not acting like Biden is worse for the middle class. I'm telling you that he may not purposely want to hurt the middle class. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is his policies versus where we are at right now economically cannot help. You cannot spend more money on social programs and renewable energy when we don't have any money to spend. We do not have any money. We are $28 trillion in debt. This is not a political argument. I am arguing economics. You're arguing Trump and Biden right now. We are on two different arguments. And this is what happens a lot of times when I have these discussions with people on Facebook and stuff. There is a difference. You can argue for your political opinions. That's fine. I'm not a big Trump supporter. Trump is a narcissist, asshole, and all that. But if you didn't realize that your paycheck went up during the Trump administration, then you didn't realize there was tax cuts. Trump did cut taxes for the rich. He also cut taxes for the middle class. Anybody who had a paycheck had bigger paychecks because they were paying less taxes. That's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you got to cut the taxes for the rich because they won't stick around. That's just how it happens. The wealth transfer is happening now, especially, but the economic side of it, I don't really care if it's Trump or Biden. I only care about what their economic policies are, and what Biden's economic policies are is to spend more money. We want to spend more money on this. We want to spend more money on that. Well, we don't have any money, so that's the problem. This is simple. This is not even economics at this point. This is simple, basic logic of math. You can't keep spending money if you have no money. If you want to argue that with me, then please make me understand how you can spend money with no money, because that's all it boils down to. So I'm not saying Biden's terrible for the economy. I'm saying that Biden's policies, he like this is not a straw man. You're making this a political argument because you don't want to agree at all. I understand what you are trying to say, and that's your political beliefs, and that's fine. But what I'm telling you is economics and how it works. This is not, like I said, where are we going to get the money to keep spending money? If Obamacare gets brought back in, which it most likely is because his whole cabinet is Obama administration, Obamacare was a disaster. I know it was a disaster because it personally affected me terribly. Being an independent contractor, my health insurance, to try to get health insurance, was out of this world. I went without health insurance for the whole Obama administration because it was cheaper for me just to go to the doctor and pay cash than it was to actually pay for health insurance as an independent contractor. That doesn't help anything. So, it's not a bias thing. Like, I don't really care who's in office. I only care about what their policies are. I'm not Republican or Democrat. And it's very simple. You can't keep spending money if you don't have money. Listen, I understand. See, assumptions and opinions are not facts. I'm not stating some of what I'm saying is opinion. Some of what I'm saying is facts. Like you can't beat the laws of supply and demand. That's just how it is. Like it's not something that anybody can deal with. You have to work within the bounds of how things work. If you don't have any money, then you can't do anything. Absolutely. You are absolutely right. The billionaires, they do the pharmaceutical industry. They do control supply and demand through lobbying. That's the problem. Uh, no, I'm not. I'm not trying to negatively disagree with you. Like I'm not. I'm a little fired up, but I just like to talk about this stuff. It's good that we're having the conversation. It's good to have the discussion. I'm not saying you're wrong in your opinions. You're fine to have your own opinions. I'm just saying, from an economic standpoint, I just don't see. Now, I could be wrong. Biden may not do all the things that he said he was going to do. He could do some other stuff. Who knows? We don't really know yet. He's not officially in until January. But from what I've heard him say and from looking at who he's putting in his cabinet, the same people who was in the Obama administration, I don't know if that can work. I mean, we just don't have any money. That's the problem. You got to have money to spend money. You got to spend money to make money. We don't have any money. That's the problem. No, you're right. You're right. This is okay. So you're on the same track with me right here. You're on the same track with me right here about the pharmaceutical lobbying and all that stuff, and that's why prices are so high. You are exactly right. But here's the problem. Here's the kicker, okay? Why do those pharmaceutical companies and all the corporations, why are they able to lobby the government? If you shrink the government and take their power away to do these legislative things that have caused these prices, their interference with the free markets, then there's no power for the corporations to lobby. And this is where my libertarian views come in. So you take the power away from the government to where they can't be in the free market so hard, then you no longer have lobbying. You no longer have corporations in control of the legislative branch and all that. So, that's the thing. I mean, Obama was, look, and we talked about this last night. Democrats and Republicans do a tug of war. Every 4 to 8 years, it's a tug of war. It's, okay, the Democrats did this, now let's undo everything, now the Republicans do this. And then the Democrats get back in and they undo everything the Republicans do. And nothing really gets done either way for both sides. That's why I say it doesn't really matter what side you're on when it comes to these conversations, because it's the same tug of war that continues to happen. But the only thing that continues to happen with this tug of war is the government keeps getting slowly bigger and bigger and more powerful. The more powerful it gets, the more control it has, the more it can control the markets, the more it's no longer free market. Like locking down an entire country and picking and choosing businesses as winners and doing these bailouts. Like I just read that thing earlier where they said they're going to give $45 billion to airlines. You know how expensive it is to fly. You know how expensive it is to buy those drinks at the snack stand at the airports. You know how expensive it is. Why in the hell are these airlines, these airline companies ran so badly that closing down for not even a year is going to run them out of business and the government has to come in and save them? Because the government always does that. Doesn't matter whether it's the left or the right, they always do that. And that is not free market economics. That is the government bailing out these big corporations. You do not have competition when the corporations are being bailed out by the government. Because then if they were competing, if the corporations were actually competing, American Airlines would have plenty of cash and hardly any debt. But they don't have to compete. They can just pay themselves high salaries and all this stuff. And then when something happens, oh, we're in trouble, come save us, government. That's not what the government is there for. Businesses should be ran the right way from start to finish. If they can't run the right way, they need to go out of business. Government needs to stay out of the free markets. That is one of the biggest problems, and it's hardly addressed on both the right and the left. It's always like, let's do this government program to put a Band-Aid on top of this thing that we did earlier. And it's just stacking Band-Aids and more power, and the corporations just keep getting bailed out. It's the constant thing that continually happens. And it's a problem. They got to get out. Exactly. See? Yeah. See, that's something we can agree on. They spend all their excess cash on buybacks. Exactly. Well, that's the thing. We're not even in the top 10 of the Economic Freedom Index. That's crazy to me. The U.S. is not in the top 10 of the Economic Freedom Index because we truly don't have free market systems all the way around. Like healthcare is not free market, college is not free market. The same thing happened with colleges. The government is footing the bill with student loans. There's no competition for colleges to have to compete for prices, to drive prices down because the government's footing the bill. When the government's paying for the student loans up front, they're paying the bill up front, all the colleges can be like, oh, let's just keep raising prices. And that's why colleges are out of control. The same thing as far as pharmaceutical companies and medical. The government does more bad than it does good. And the government could do good. That's an optimistic looking view, but the track record of our government is terrible. It's a constant tug of war of chaos and nonsense. You're still paying down your student loans. It shouldn't be that expensive. It shouldn't be $500 for a college math book that 20 people have already used. That doesn't make any sense. That does not make any sense whatsoever. So these are the root problems where we need to scale the government back and get them out of the free markets. And that's why I'm very libertarian leaning, because the government all the government is people. It's just people. That's all it is. You know? Why would the government, and I asked this last night in the the other channel episode. I asked this last night. Why do you think the government knows better for you about your own life than you do? You know, that's a hard question to answer, because the government's just people. Why do those people in power know better than you do about your own life? Because I'm pretty sure Trump doesn't know what I do. No, that's the worst thing, and that's one of the biggest problems right now is there's a whole movement of people saying, government save us, government help us. And the government is bad at helping. It's so bad at helping. If the government had a good track record of helping, I'd be like, yeah, okay, maybe. But, you know, the track record is so bad, it's like, and that's what's pushed me libertarian leaning, is because I just think the government's gotten too overblown. It's too bloated. Too much government spending. Too much government everything. So all this together, you know, is what you got to keep in mind. This is another thing. You're bringing up the labor. Here's the other thing, and you're probably going to disagree with me on this, but minimum wage is the reason why. We need labor to work the low-tier jobs. Unfortunately, those jobs don't pay diddly squat. Exactly. And the reason why is because minimum wage is the government telling businesses all over the country, you have to pay this set price. That's a blanket policy. The problem with this is South Dakota has way lower living costs, way lower taxes, way lower exports and imports than California does. So California might be able, those businesses might be able to pay $15 an hour minimum wage, but South Dakota businesses can't pay $15 an hour minimum wage. This should be something that's left up to the state, not on a federal level. Minimum wage is the government forcing companies to have to pay this wage. Now, the second problem is that comes in when you do that. Think back in the day, there used to be gas station attendants. They were usually kids in high school or whatever. They get paid like $3 or $4 an hour and working for tips or whatever as a gas station attendant. They don't exist anymore. The reason because minimum wage. You tell a company they got to pay this price, they're no longer going to give the unskilled laborers a shot. If I've got to pay $15 an hour minimum wage, I want my money's worth. Let's take it at restaurant, for example. I used to be a restaurant GM. So if I have the choice between a high school kid being a cook for me for $15 an hour, or I have the option of a 35-year-old guy who's been in the restaurant business as a chef for 15 years, I'm going to pay the guy who's got 15 years experience because I'm going to get more out of him. And on top of that, because I don't have a dishwasher, I'm going to make him wash dishes as well, because I can't afford to pay $15 for a dishwasher and $15 for a cook. So now those two jobs are going to be combined into one. And this is what happens over and over again. You see it also as another example in the restaurant industry where this happened. You used to have hostesses, multiple hostesses, 3 or 4 hostesses doing their little hosting job. And all they were doing was seating people. That's it. That's all they were doing. Well, I had to hire a host, and my hosts had to do, because this is what the budget would only allow me to do. The host, I only had 1 or 2 hosts, and they had to seat people. They had to take reservations. They had to do to-go orders. They had to do their own cleaning in their own area. So that job, we're talking 3 or 4 different jobs that get smushed into one because minimum wage. It's anytime the federal government steps in and do something, it's a problem. I know minimum wage hasn't changed in 12 years, but, on a federal level, it shouldn't even exist. If you want to do minimum wage on a state level, that's fine. But doing minimum wage on a federal level, like I said, everything's different in every state. The numbers are different in every state. So putting a blanket policy over the whole country, that's a problem. I'd much rather have the states deciding on minimum wage, or if they even want to have it at all. If you look at some of the top 10 of economic freedom index countries, a good portion of those don't even have minimum wage, because minimum wage does a lot of restricting, because business owners have to get around it. They have to get more value for their money. They can't just pay a kid $5 to pump gas or be a hostess or whatever. They've got to have them, doing all this stuff, multiple jobs, because they can't afford to pay to have that many different workers. So kind of. See, here's the thing. I can't agree with you on this. I can't go with you on agreeing with on fair distribution of wealth. What is fair about me taking all the risk for my company, taking all the risk, putting up front all the investment, doing the LLC, paying the taxes, setting up everything I need for the business, buying all the machinery, buying all the products, hiring all the employees, and I can keep going because running a business takes a lot. What is fair about me doing all that and then having to give most of my money back to my workers? Does that seem fair? There's no okay. If there's no reason Jeff Bezos should be worth 180 billion, why shouldn't he be worth 80 billion? Why shouldn't Bezos be worth 180 billion? I know you guys are saying I'm using Ben Shapiro talking points, but it's not Ben Shapiro talking points. This is just, you know. So he shouldn't be worth 180 billion because his gross income is filtered through tax havens. So if he didn't filter them through tax havens, would you be fine if he was worth 180 billion then? Why? Here's the question. Why is the lower class and middle class where they are at? Is it because of Jeff Bezos? Did Jeff Bezos come to their houses and take all their money? I mean, there is a wealth transfer, but the problem is, like I said earlier, it's the government that's caused a lot of these problems. But what we're getting into now is this theory that billionaires and millionaires shouldn't be as rich as they are. And that to me is a very pessimistic way to look at it. because why shouldn't they be? And furthermore, one more question for you I'd like you to answer. Everybody can't be a billionaire, but if everybody tried to be a billionaire and they fell short and they're only a millionaire, 100,000-aire, it would be better off than they were before. Everybody should try. I mean, you guys are on this channel, with me trying to learn how to trade the markets better and better. Everybody should try. Everybody should want to try. You may not make it, but if you fall short, you're probably going to fall short better off than you were. Yeah, Amazon is a problem. Amazon is a problem, but that's, once again, that goes back to the government. Amazon would have never got that big if it wasn't all the government interference. There would have been more competition. But here's my question. Here's my question, and I'm going to let you answer, and then we're going to end the stream here because I got to get some lunch. You got me all fired up. Yeah. So here's my question for you. What qualifies you to say how much other people should make? And not only you, but what qualifies anybody to decide how much another person should make? You don't like seeing poverty. That's fine. But I hear what you're saying, but you're not answering my question. What qualifies you or anybody else to decide how much another human being makes in their own business? I'm not talking about employees, because employees is different. Like, who gets to decide how much is enough money for another human being? Who gets to decide that? Does that sound fair? Would you like it if I come to your house and say, oh, I like your business, but you can only make this much off of your business because I don't like seeing poverty? You're deflecting right now. I'm giving you the opportunity to answer this question in an actual logical way. What qualifies you or anybody else to tell another human being how much money is enough for them for their business? I said the system was broken. I'm fully aware that the system is broken. I agree. I went through a whole list of reasons why the system was broken, but the system's not broken because of the millionaires and billionaires. The system is broken because of the power that we've given the government that has allowed the millionaires and billionaires to do what they want. That is the problem. It is the government. The system is broken, and the system is the government. The system is not the millionaires and the billionaires. You take the power away from the government, the billionaires and millionaires, they don't have any power. What power do they have? Now they got to compete against the rest of the world. Because resources are limited. Okay. I'm not the one saying that anybody cannot have their fair share of resources or opportunities. I'm not the one saying that people are making too much money. So you're asking me that question. I don't know why, because I'm not the one saying that anybody should be doing anything. That's the thing. That's the difference right there. Because who gets to decide any of this? We are all human beings living on the same planet. So you can't tell me that I've got to do something because you don't like something you're seeing. That doesn't make any sense. I could do the same thing. I could do that right now. I could say, well, I don't like EV stocks, so don't buy EV stocks anymore. I don't care how much you think that EV stock is going up. Don't buy it anymore because I said so. That's I'm not the one telling people not to do stuff. The argument that you are making is the billionaires and millionaires have too much money, the system is broken. I agree the system is broken, but whose fault is it? The fault is not on the millionaires and billionaires for taking advantage of a broken system. You can take the same advantage they did. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk were nobody. Now they're somebody. They took advantage of the system, of the broken system. You can do it too. I'm not saying that anybody can't do anything. I'm saying I want everybody to try. I want everybody to try to do everything. If you don't want to try, then, Moral and ethical questions that my soul should know. Okay. I'm going to ask you another question. You guys are having a hard time answering these questions, and this is what this usually leads to. It's pretty comical to me when these questions can't be answered. Good and bad, good and evil are perspectives. You may think that what somebody in another country doing is evil. In their eyes, it may be justified. So you're saying the moral and good that you should know in your soul. Well, what qualifies you to tell me what good I should be knowing in my soul? You don't know me that well. I mean, I'm here on the live stream. I'm got plenty of videos. But what qualifies you to know what's better for me? This goes back. This is the same question. What qualifies the government? What qualifies another person to tell me how my life is and how my life should be? What qualifies any other human being to tell another human being that? It's not a take. It's a question. And if you can't answer that question, if you cannot answer that question, then you have no backing for your entire argument. That's the point. You have to be able to answer that question. My argument is the government is too big. My argument is they are just human beings. They're not qualified to tell me what to do with my life. That's my argument. You ask me that question, I'll say no. Nobody is qualified to tell another human being what they need to do with their life. That's my answer. That's my argument, and I'll back it. When I ask you that question, or anybody on that side of the spectrum that question, they don't have an answer. It's, you should know in your soul. You should know what's good for you. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you're not answering my question. And when you can't answer that question, it's because you really don't have a real foundation for your argument. Well, I'm talking to Earth Project. Oh, you're arguing with One Life. I see what you're saying there. There's problems. There's absolutely problems. There's absolutely problems. I'm not on the side of gridlock. I don't want gridlock in the government. I just want the government to be smaller. The federal government, if you go and look at the U.S. Government departments and agencies, that list is crazy. It's in alphabetical order because there's so many departments, and a lot of them are useless. It's taxpayer dollars that are going to useless problems. That's why we're in so much debt. The government continues to spend money on useless things. You know, like these wars we keep having overseas and stuff like that. Get out of everybody else's business. Just because we're the U.S. doesn't mean we should be telling other people how to live in other countries. It's their countries. They're their own people. Let them do what they want to do. My argument's the same argument all the way across the board, that nobody on this earth is better than anybody else to be able to tell somebody else how to live their life. That is my argument. And that goes all the way across the board. The government shouldn't be telling people. Politicians shouldn't be telling people. Corporations shouldn't be telling people. Human beings that are average human beings shouldn't be telling people. Unless you are a parent raising a little kid that doesn't know anything because they're a little kid, you should not be telling other human beings how to live their life. That is what freedom is. That's what it is supposed to be. And we have strayed far away from that. And that's what all these problems have come from, because everybody wants to say the government knows best. Why do they know best? I don't know. Who knows? There's not a way to answer that question honestly. The only way to answer that question honestly is to say, no, other human beings should not be telling other human beings how to live their life. And that's the basics of my argument for all of that. So if you can't answer those questions, and I'm not just talking to you, Dan, too, I'm talking about Project Earth. If you can't answer those questions, then you really don't have an argument. And that's just the truth about it. It's nothing personal. I don't mean any disrespect. You're fine to have your opinions, but unless you can answer that type of question, then, I mean, it's kind of pointless. But all right, guys, I am starving. We can have these conversations tomorrow. I'd preferably like to have these conversations on the other channel instead of this channel. So, Dan, if you haven't went and subscribed to that channel yet, it's in the community tab. That's where we're going to do all the politics, the day trading and stock market stuff. I really want to keep only on this channel and keep the politics and economics and all that other stuff on the new channel. I'd much rather be having those discussions over there than over here, because this I just want people to be learning day trading and stock market and simple supply and demand rules and how to better their lives financially, even in a broken system. So that's what this channel is really for. I didn't really mean to go off on that much of a tangent, but I'm still a little fired up from last night, and it happens. So, but we'll be back again tomorrow. Appreciate everybody joining me today. I hope everybody made some good profits off of the ears. It was a very nice play, very good triangle play there. One life is a bully. But yeah, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there. Thank you, everybody, for the discussions. It's always good to have civil discussion. Don't let it turn to name calling and all that. You can have civil discussions. You can get fired up. It's only for the betterment of human beings that we have these discussions, because that's what it is. Communication is the key to everything. Communication is the key to success. Communication is the key to moving forward. And we've got to have that no matter where you're at on the aisle. And anytime anybody wants to have any of these conversations with me, I have no problem having them. But like I said, let's go and try to have them on the other channel and not on the trading channel, so people who are just interested in trading don't get ran off from this channel. But yeah, you guys have a good one. Stay safe out there. We'll be back tomorrow. Until next time.